Chicken wings are a craze. People love them. And I'm always looking for different ways to make them so that they're spicy and sweet and delicious, especially when everyone's sitting in front of the television or eating, ready for the big game and just noshing away. Finger food is what's happening, and wings are what I really go to always. So this recipe I'm making right now, I'm just going to make the marinade, which is hoisin. Now this is a part of the Asian pantry, really, hoisin sauce. And you can get this in the international section of your supermarket. I want about 2/3 of a cup, which is pretty much almost this entire jar. And that forms the basis. It has the most unbelievable flavor. And it gets it going. When you start to taste it, you're going to know what this is. If you have mushu chicken when you order out Chinese food and they give you a paste to put on, it's usually hoisin sauce. Next, I have the rind of 2 oranges. Wash your oranges really nicely. And if you do 2 whole oranges, you're going to get about what you need. It's about 2 tablespoons of orange zest. Don't worry, the juice of the orange is not going to waste. I'm going to use it in a dipping sauce because a dipping sauce with chicken wings just makes them all the more insane to eat. You can tell I'm very excited. I'm excited because when I roast a chicken or do anything like that, my favorite part is chicken wings. So a whole meal of chicken wings is on the menu frequently. I have chili sauce, any kind of chili sauce, but it should be spicy. About 1/4 to 1/2 cup. So 1/4 cup's not going to give you too much spice. 1/2 cup's going to give you a lot. I'm going to split the difference. We're a spicy household, what can I say? I have 1/4 cup of honey. And last but not least, I have sesame oil. It's a teaspoon. Be careful with sesame oil. You don't want to overdo it. All right. Now we just give it a nice whisking to make sure that everything's completely combined. And I purposefully start with it very thick. If you have too thin of a marinade, it combines, the juices comes out of the chicken and it all kind of is very loose and you don't get that concentrated flavor. By the time this is cooked and it's in the oven, I want concentrated, golden, caramelized, delicious flavor. Just reserve about 1/2 cup so that you can baste later. I'm going to baste these chicken wings halfway through. All right, I'm going to try not to get my hands involved in this. And you can see how the thickness of this paste just immediately adheres to the chicken. Now, I put these away to marinate. And I always tell, people say to me, you always say either 2 hours or 24 hours. That's a huge difference. And the reason I tell you that is because I want you to know that 2 hours is better than no hours, and 24 is better than 2, and anything in between should work with your life and your schedule and your ability to get dinner on the table. That's the bottom line here. They're not going to be bad if it's only 2 hours, but they're going to be all the more better if you have a longer period of time to marinate. So I just get some plastic foil here, and these are going to go into the fridge, and I have the time. So I'm going to leave them there as long as possible. And this is what you can look like after they've been marinated for a long time. You can see what I mean about the liquid coming out. It's really gotten thinner. A lot thinner. Not so much as getting it completely juicy and polite. I'm not going to just dump this out because I don't know what tray here.
Csak bortról cseledik le másért.
We have
Yeah,
to
we
make
ate.
them because if they crowd together on one hand, you're going to have steamed chicken wings. It smells great. Spicy and sweet and delicious. Okay.
Enough.
All right, this gets right into the oven. It's preheating 375 degrees. They're going to cook for 20 minutes. And I might even rotate them halfway through since I've got them on 2 racks here. In 20 minutes, I'm going to crank it up to 425 degrees for 20 more minutes to get it nice and crispy and golden on the outside. Now for some dipping sauce. And here's how I feel about the dipping sauce. I like to use a lot of the same ingredients that I've used for the marinade, but you also switch it up a little bit so that you're not completely doing the same thing. That doesn't make any sense either. So I don't have garlic in the marinade, so I'm going to start with garlic. I have 3 cloves of garlic minced here. And I'm just going to cook it off a little bit in some safflower oil, which you just get right here into this little pan. Get the garlic in there. And then I promised you I was going to use up this orange juice, So we'd have the rind in the marinade, but we don't have juice, so we pick up the flavor. The rind's always different, it's more concentrated than the juice of a particular piece of citrus. And I always like to use both of them and really have the flavors play off each other. So I have these two oranges, and there's no seeds in these oranges, I believe.
Hai.
Yeah, so I'm just going to
Supa de
read
cuie.
straight into here.
Păi ce stai și tu ce citești?
Ce pune pe
Nu aleg eu, tu le
So
alegi.
you have oranges that have pits. You can just squeeze it over top of a small colander or something
Supa
like
de
that.
cuie ai citit? Nu
That's
citești.
about right.
După ce termine
And
la
2
următoarea.
tablespoons of honey.
Când ți asta ciupași.
That'll
După aceea
thicken
am
it up a
dat din
little
hoja
bit,
și mirosul
sweeten it up a
fructei.
little bit.
O oră vreau să spun. Dacă ai ajuns
And then going back
aici
to
și
the
aia și tot făcut o oră,
I
mai
actually
citești
have just about
până la
a
sfârșit.
tablespoon
Dacă nu
left.
ți-a făcut o oră,
and I'm gonna
o iei
whisk
pe
this
următoarea.
into.
Ai înțeles?
And a little pinch of salt,
40.
about a quarter teaspoon.
5 și
And
10.
that's it. This is our dipping sauce for our chicken
La
wings.
6 și 10.
Paula's gonna come get into the action in the kitchen and help me out on the other things we have to make. Up next, I'm assembling my 7-layer bean dip in individual glass jars. We are making 7-layer bean dip, Calder and I. Thing about 7-layer bean dip is it's got a real fervent following. 7 layers. I'm making them individually though. Calder, we need to jump right in. I see you started cutting the tomatoes. Okay, so 7 layers, we're starting on 2 layers. I'm gonna make the bean layer, Calder's making the tomato layer. You just have to chop that as finely as possible. And I've got an onion, which I've begun chopping here, and 4 cloves of garlic. And the reason I got going with that is because I am making my own refried beans. I'm gonna make them in the pan over here, which is heating up. And to that, I just add some safflower oil and get the onions and the garlic right in the pan. The only thing, Calder, I reserved some onions for you, for your tomato. Because I have to say, this is my recipe for 7-layer bean dip that I practice to make the way I like it. I was just asking Calder, do you think college kids will make this?
I think it might be a little bit of work, but you probably would use like canned refried beans. And
So you
like,
wouldn't make your own refried
no,
beans?
and like nacho
Wouldn't
cheese
taste as
sauce.
good. I don't think it would taste as good, Quinn. I really don't.
It probably wouldn't, but it'd be a lot easier. Give you a
Okay.
lot more time to.
All right, I want this to cook down a little bit, so I'm gonna come over there and help you with your layer, Calder. And it looks like you got most of the tomatoes done. So I'm just putting the onion in here. And just for your information, what I was thinking about with this layer too is I was trying to make a little bit of a salsa, but this might be a place where you or your friends would just buy a jar of salsa.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Hey, anything goes. And then you'll mix that up a little bit. I think that's all that you have in there, right?
Some salt.
A little bit of salt, okay, great. And now let's move to layer 3. Now layer 3 for me, Calder, is about sort of making a guacamole-ish type of a thing. So you can get the 2 avocados cut, sliced, and put in the bowl, and then we're gonna mix that with some sour cream and some jalapeno peppers. So why don't I get started on the jalapenos?
Okay.
So we have about 1 or 2 jalapeno peppers is what we need, because we're gonna mash it together with the avocado.
I love those pickled jalapenos on sandwiches.
Oh, yeah.
So good. I'm throwing a little sour cream in this.
Do you have the avocado?
I do.
Throw in 2 tablespoons of lemon juice.
Okay.
This is ready now. For this layer 3, I'm gonna leave this for you, Calder, to get in there while I come over here and finish up on the beans.
Okay.
This looks good. I'm gonna get the beans in. Just dump them in here. Get them hot as fast as possible. As soon as they start to get warmed through, then I'm gonna just start to mash them down. And I like, one of the reasons why I make my own is because I like to have a little bit of texture in the bean layer. I don't like it to be just paste. Anyway, this is looking like I'm gonna start to kind of mash it down, and I'm gonna get the liquid in here from the beans and really start to work it. These beans are soft. That's the thing about canned beans and why they're nice here, is that they're really soft. So I just start to take the back of my spoon here and just mash it down. The other thing we have going today, Calder, you weren't in here when I was getting the chicken wings ready. Are you psyched about that?
Well, you know that chicken wings are like our favorite.
I know.
Especially on game day.
And since we're gonna smooth that into a layer, I really wanna make sure that it's smooth. So give it a little bit of work the way I'm doing this here. Just Okay, my bean layer's done. How are you with the avocado, Calder?
Good. Is it mashed to your liking?
I think it's mashed to my liking, which is a little chunky. So I'm gonna make a few so we can get started. I'm gonna put some bean in here, and then it's gonna be hot. The bean's hot, and
Cheese
then
on top.
and that'll be great because
The cheese will melt.
the cheese will melt. All right, I need a spoon. Will you smooth that down so it's an actual
Sure.
layer, please? Thank you. Okay. Smells good. Okay, and then you can smooth that down too. Okay, I'm gonna chop some scallions, actually thinly sliced, Calder, for one of your layers.
Cool.
I think the bottom line is here we need 7 layers. And the way I've designed this is I just kind of like it to look pretty, and that the colors that come next to each other match, but also that it makes sense. So you, on top of that hot bean, you actually end up getting a little bit of cheese that melts down. All right, what is next?
So I think we have scallions, and then after that, tomato mixture.
Okay, so you go and start building. I think
Okay.
you know what you're doing here. I'm gonna continue with some beans and get a few more made. And then when we serve this, we're gonna use corn chips, right?
Of course.
So you can dip it all out.
Of course.
All right. What else we got going there? Make sure you have enough scallion on your layer.
Is that mine okay?
No, that's good. I'm gonna start over here with the rest of the cheese.
Okay.
And then scallion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go scallion here. So you can see how handy it is to have somebody helping you out with this. Go ahead. Now,
Now we're doing avocado.
I'm making that each person gets their own little individual bean dip container.
I like the idea that you're cooking for us on game day.
Okay. How are we doing? So let's count up layers here. Let's count them up. Did we miss something?
I think we cheated a little bit with
No.
scallions as a layer.
We did?
That's like,
Where's the sour cream layer?
with the avocado.
No, sour cream layer goes before this.
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna put a sour cream layer in on mine. As long as we have 7.
you'll have a 7-layer dip. I'll
I'm
have
having a
3
s-
6 layers.
Well, you can explain that to your father and your brothers, why they have a dainty little dollop
Yeah,
instead of a layer.
Something tells me it will not make any difference.
Okay, dollop, dollop. See, you can't spread on top of those avocado, on top of the olives, right? Because they're all chopped up. All right, let's see. Okay, there we go. 7 official layers on mine, Calder.
6 on the rest. But
6 on the rest with the dollop. But whatever way you have it, it's absolutely delicious. Perfect for game day, right?
So excited.
Can you imagine your friends your friends will come over too, right?
Of course.
Of course. Next, I'll show you how quick and easy it is to make a huge platter of scrumptious mini burgers. Our chicken wings have come out of the oven to be basted. They were at 375 for about 20 minutes, and Calder's just getting the rest of the marinade that we reserved so that he can make sure that they have another layer, and then they go back in the oven and they get boosted up to 425 and cook for about another 20 minutes until they're caramelized and golden, just the way you like them, right?
Mm-hmm. Crispy.
Crispy. It's sort of crispy, but it's also kind of gooey. That's what these chicken wings are. And right now we're moving on to sliders, which I love, little mini hamburgers. And I'm not gonna say where, but I am copied for the purpose of this recipe a very well-known fast food burger. And I asked one of the kids, what is your favorite thing about that burger? And I was told those little tiny dehydrated onions on the burger. So this is what I do a lot of the time. I try to pick apart what someone liked that they got that was fast food and make it actually homemade and a little healthier. So I have 2 to 3 shallots, and I'm very, very, very finely mincing them, and so that I can try to copy those little dehydrated onion bits. And 4 tablespoons of butter is going into this pan. Just get it on. And this is going to be for the buns
So
in the
Mom,
end.
Mom, am I turning up this oven?
Oh yeah, turn it up to 425, please.
Okay.
And then we need to just remember 20 minutes and they'll be all done.
So 20 more minutes?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Okay, and then in with the butter and the shallots, a little bit of salt and pepper. And then we'll just let this cook away with some water for about 2 to 3 minutes until we have a bit of a shallot butter soft bit that's gonna ultimately go onto our buns.
Well,
So-
I'm gonna start with these burgers, okay?
Okay, great. So we have ground sirloin. Now, I do burgers all kinds of ways. We grill burgers, we griddle burgers. But for these sliders, here's what I was thinking. Calder, you have to tell me what you think. I use ground sirloin, which is not a very fatty meat. What I'm gonna do is have sliders that actually when they're cooked the size I want them, but giving up the fat in the meat means I give up a little flavor, so just for fun, I'm gonna put a little bit of butter on each slider. And then I'm also going to adhere a pickle to each slider. And the beauty of these, Calder, is rather than sitting there frying burgers, which you can absolutely do, this is game day. I got a lot of starving people I gotta be dealing with. So I do it on a sheet pan and do it in the oven, in the broiler, which is great, because that way you can get a lot of them done quickly. Right, you're done. Now, I like to put pickles on the burger. Do you know how much I love pickles on my burgers?
I do.
And I just press it in, and that does the double duty of indenting the burger in the center, which means that it'll cook a little bit more evenly. Did you know that? You know how sometimes when you cook the burgers, they go like that, they dome? Well, that doesn't happen when you press down in the center. So our sliders are ready. I've got my shallot butter, which is my fake fast food burger fake out. So if you get it into the broiler for me, please, Calder. It'll cook for about 4 to 5 minutes, depending on how you like your burgers, rare, medium, but about 4 to 5 minutes should be good. And when they're done, I just love the sheet tray action because you can get everything in, and then we'll get our buns ready and we'll get everything ready to eat. Our little mini sliders have cooked in the broiler for about almost 5 minutes, and we have cheese we're getting on there. These need to get into the broiler for another 30 seconds, if you wouldn't mind just taking it.
Sure.
And you might as well just wait there because we don't want to melt, burn it, do anything like that. Now remember my fancy sauce, which isn't really fancy. It's shallots and butter and water and salt and pepper, and the point was just to emulate a fast food burger that I knew one of the kids liked, to put these little onion bits on the burger. So I'm going to put these onion bits here. So is the cheese melted, Calder?
Yeah, I think it's ready.
Excellent. If you bring it over here, we can start to assemble these burgers. So I get them assembled in their basic shape with their little shallot sauce on them, and then put a burger onto each bun and top it, and then just serve it with condiments and everything else, and people can help themselves. So if I get them on here, would you mind just putting the top on, please?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm just gonna get into an assembly line situation. Get them on. You get the top on. We'll get the beers open. It's always about this time when we're cooking that that word mouth-watering isn't a joke, it's for real, because it's exactly what's happening. All right, Calder. What else?
Chicken wing, bean dip.
Yeah, how's that bean dip look?
Like amazing.
All right, this is beautiful. One toppled. Here, let me get that out of your way, because I think we need to start eating.
Ooh, these chicken wings, wow.
Is that what you're going for first?
Well, I'm serving you a plate.
Oh, great. I love that you put extra sauce when you were slathering. So it gave that edges that are kind of crispy and a little bit, actually, this looks so good, but my heart's right here with the burger. I need to bite into the burger. That's what I want to do. And I'm not even going to put anything on it. I just want it basic. Oh. Wow. Look.
Ooh, nice
Isn't
and
that
cooked.
beautiful?
Just in the broiler.
All right, I'm going to trade. I'm going to have a chicken wing. Wow. I can really taste the orange of the chicken wing. Did you taste?
Yeah, the marinade is so good.
Did I make it too spicy?
No, not at all. Do you think I can go into the bean dip?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Don't go into mine, though.
I know, 6-layer per Calder.
It could be a little messy,
Yeah.
but it looks good. So here's all the perfect game day fare. You have sliders, you have chicken wings, and you have 7-layer bean dip. The actual 7-layer bean dip, the one with the 7 layers. It looks beautiful. It turns into a big, lovely mess as you start eating it, and it's so tasty. Thanks for helping me. Not only you're watching the game, but you help me in the kitchen. That's something I'm really happy about.
My pleasure.